This is the IQAir HealthPro Plus XE air purifier. I just wanted to share my experience with this in case anyone else is considering it, because I spent way too long reading reviews and specs before I pulled the trigger. I've been using it in a pretty normal home situation. Allergies in the family, occasional cooking smells that hang around longer than I want. And during certain weeks of the year, the outdoor air just isn't great. The first thing I noticed is it's not a small air purifier. It's tall, kind of boxy, and it takes up real floor space. Mine sits near the living room area, and you don't hide it like some of the smaller round units. It also has some weight to it, but once the wheels are on, I can roll it around without much effort. If you're thinking you'll carry it up and down stairs all the time, you probably won't love that part. Setup was mostly straightforward. It's basically unpack, plug in, and go. The only part that annoyed me was getting the caster wheels seated properly. They do go in, but I had to press harder than I expected, and I genuinely thought I was going to crack something before they clicked. After that, day-to-day operation is simple. The controls on top are old school, a small screen and buttons. It works. It's not flashy. I actually like that it doesn't try to be a tablet on a tower. Where it started to feel worth it for me was actual performance in the room. When I run it at the lower fan speeds, it's quiet enough that I can have it going while I'm working or at night. It's not silent, but it blends into the background like a steady fan sound. At the higher speeds, it's loud. Not jet engine, but loud enough that I wouldn't want it next to me on the couch while trying to watch something, and I definitely wouldn't sleep with it blasting. I treat the high speeds like a short burst, after cooking, after opening windows on a dusty day, or when I just want to clear the air faster. I can't claim I'm measuring my air with lab gear, but I do notice the practical stuff. My throat and eyes feel better on days when pollen is high. The stale smell that sometimes builds up in a closed house goes away faster. When someone cooks something smoky, the smell doesn't linger as long. It's also helped with that general dusty feeling in the room. I still clean like normal, but I'm wiping surfaces a bit less often, and I don't get that same irritation when I'm sitting around for a few hours. One thing I was worried about before buying was whether it would be all talk and no difference, because I've owned smaller HEPA purifiers before. With those, I could tell they helped a little in a bedroom, but they struggled in bigger open areas. This one actually moves air in a way I can feel across the room, especially once you get to the mid-speeds. The airflow comes out the top and spreads around instead of blasting in one direction, so it doesn't feel like it's aimed right at you. I also use the app more than I expected. I thought I'd ignore it, but it's nice to be able to check air quality readings and adjust settings without walking over to the unit. I mainly keep it on an automatic mode so it speeds up when the air gets worse and calms down when things are fine. That matters because I don't want to think about it all day. I just want it to do its thing. Filter maintenance is one of those be honest with yourself parts. The filters work, but replacements aren't cheap. That's not me being dramatic, it's just the reality. The upside is, the unit feels like it's built to last, and the filters aren't something I'm swapping every month. It's more like I check the remaining life and plan ahead, because I don't want to be surprised by a big cost at the wrong time. Changing them is pretty clean and not a dusty mess, which I appreciate. Another small thing, when the gas filter was new, I noticed a faint new filter smell. Not awful, but it was there for a bit. It went away after I ran it for a while. If you're extremely sensitive to smells, just know there might be a short break-in period. Compared to the typical big box store purifiers I've used, this feels more like a serious appliance than a gadget. Those other units are lighter, often quieter at similar airflow, and they look nicer in a modern living room. But they also didn't give me the same, the air actually feels different result in a larger space. So for me, it's a trade-off. This one is bigger, more industrial looking, and costs more to maintain, but it actually keeps up in rooms where the smaller ones felt like they were just working in a little bubble around themselves. If you live in a small apartment, or you're mostly trying to freshen up a single small bedroom, I'm not sure you need something this large. I think it makes the most sense if you have allergies, pets, smoke issues in your area, or you're trying to cover a large room and you don't want to run multiple smaller units all the time. It's also good for someone who wants mechanical filtration without any weird add-ons like ionizers. I personally prefer that simpler approach. So would I buy it again? I think so, with the same expectations. I'd go into it knowing it's a big unit, it's not quiet on max, and filters cost real money. But in my house, it's been a steady, reliable part of the routine, and I notice the difference most on the days when the air would normally bother me. If you've got questions about noise, where I placed it, how I run it day to day, or anything you're wondering before buying, drop them in the comments and I'll answer. Subscribe to the channel if you want more real-world home gear reviews like this, and leave a comment with what you're trying to solve in your space.